If you've looked at crafting with books and you think, I would love to make something like this, the very first step is to be able to cut up an old book. Now, I know that actually that's not as easy as it seems. So I'm going to show you a couple of different techniques so that you can recycle old books and turn them into something beautiful. My name's Becky and my craft business Retro from Scratch is all about taking old books and recycling them to give them a new lease of life. So today I'm going to show you two different types of book, a paperback and a hardback book, and I'm going to show you how we can remove the pages carefully to use in craft projects. So the first question is, where are you going to source your books from? Now, you may have some old books on your bookcase that you might wish to use, but if they're sentimental, then I wouldn't recommend cutting them up. The best bet is to go to your charity shop. You can pick up books like this one here for 50p, particularly if it's a children's book. And that's why quite often I work with children's books. Not only are they colourful, but also they're cheaper than adults' books. A paperback with the same number of pages would probably be at least £1, double the price a children's version. Now, this book here has actually been given to me, and I'm going to be turning this one into a notebook, but I can use this one as an example to show you how to remove the pages, and it's actually a bit easier than the paperbacks. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the paperback version first. So a little bit of book anatomy. Obviously we have a book. It has a cover, a front cover and a back cover. And then the paper in the middle here is what we call a book block. And that is what we're going to be removing. You'll also have on a hardback book, you'll have, so we've got front cover, back cover. We've also got a dust jacket here. I'm just going to remove that. And so we also have down here, which is the gutter. We'll come back to that one in a moment. Now, to remove the cover from a paperback book, I am right-handed, but this is how I would do it. So I fold the cover back as far as it goes. Now, this first page will be attached to this cover, so it's actually easier to take it all over and crease here. So the first page is going to come off with the front cover, and then I'm going to put my weight down on the right hand side on top of the block, and I'm going to pull using my left hand away from the spine, kind of at a 45-degree angle. And as you can see, it's coming away really nicely, and it's taking the spine off with it. Now, I'm not worried about saving the spine, but if you do, you could turn those into bookmarks. And now I've pulled this bit away, I can now hold the book further down the cover, and I can just pull again, pulling at sort of a 45-degree angle all the way down, and then that comes off really neatly. So you've now got the piece of paper attached and the cover and the block and the back cover. So for this, we can then, it's much easier now to remove this page. And again, so I'm now going to pull in the opposite direction, and I'm now pulling this way. As you can see, the glue here, there's quite a large amount of glue on this front page, which is how it holds itself into the cover in the first place. And there we are. So there's no tears there. I've even pretty much saved the spine if I wanted to use it. So now we just need to do the same with the back cover. And again, I'm going to take this last sheet and take that off with the back cover. Much easier because I haven't got the spine to worry about. It just looks like that, you see. The spine's already come off, and then we'll do the same here. where we just remove that page. They hadn't used as much glue on this bit compared to the front cover, so that's good. And now we have our book block. So to remove pages for crafting, if you want to create a rose or what have you, you just need to remove the pages at a time. So to remove one page at a time, it's as simple as just pulling it away like so. Very simple. Now you can see the glue here can get a little bumpy. The more you take the paper away, the further down you go, you may find that this gets a more rough edge. It's where it's coming away from the glue and you're leaving the glue behind on the spine. So you're taking the paper away. A little tiny bits of paper are getting stuck here. This is going to build up. So as you work your way down, you are going to get more chunks of this glue. And so then you may wish to actually cut that away. And to do that, I would use a knife, a craft knife. And so you would just gently cut the glue away like so. I'm not cutting the paper. I'm just running the blade along the edge very carefully, taking off that excess glue. It's actually harder to do this because the glue's not that high at the moment, but I just want to show you. But I'm not going to pull all the pages off because I don't want to do that until I'll have loads of loose sheets flying around everywhere. I don't want to do that until I've got my next craft project to use it for. There we go. So we take all the glue off and that won't be attached to the page edge. And then depending on what craft project, you might want to just trim these rougher edges up. And to do that, I would recommend that you use a metal ruler, which has a cork back. That means it's less likely to slip. And you can just line that up and take those rough edges off. And voila, beautiful paper sheets ready to craft with. Now the hardback book is technically easier depending on how well the book is made. Now this is quite an old book. I think this is from the 1960s. And this book block here has been attached to the cover, and understanding this is really useful in knowing how a book is made. So this has been attached by this page, which is part of the book block, has been stuck to the front cover and stuck to the back cover. Whereas on the paperback book, it was only a small strip. This whole bit has obviously been stuck down and is attached. Consequently, that leaves a gap down here where the spine is. And this means that these parts here are very weak. So if you've ever had a book that is damaged, quite often it will be this bit. The spines get damaged where they're pulled on the shelf, where you pull your finger, taking them off here. And also this obviously is quite a weak part. Consequently, that means it's easy to tear here. Now, if you don't want to go for the big tear or it's really hard, you'll know what I've done here is you take the cover, front and the back, and I'm going to pull them both in one hand here on one side. And then on this side, I've got the rest of the block. And I'm going to pull them away, again, at this sort of 45-degree angle. And it should come apart fairly easily. If it doesn't, then what you can do is run the blade along the gutter down here. However, when you're doing this, I would advise that you use the metal ruler. It can be awkward and you can accidentally cut the pages and then they become loose. Whereas the way we're going to do it, the book block should come out whole as one. So I've got my finger in the middle here between the two covers. So I've got a good grip. I've got a good grip up here at the top. And I'm just going to pull. And you can see that is coming away. And then I'm going to take my finger out because now I've flattened that. Now I'm resting the book against my body, which is here. If this is the first time you're doing this, you don't want to rip these sheets. You want to make sure they're okay. So I've done this quite a few times, but take your time with it. And there we are. It's as simple as that. It just pops out. Now this again is a glued spine. It's not been sewn together and it has been glued into the hardback cover. Where you may find more difficulty is with sewn books. It means they're really well made, so they can actually be more difficult to get out, and I would really then recommend using the knife to run that along the gutter to remove those pages. Let me find a book and let me see if I can show you how I do that. Okay, so for this example, I'm using Postman Pat, and here we have the gutter. You can see it's quite tight. So this is where the knife will be really useful. So what I'm going to do is very carefully place my blade here where the pages join, and I'm almost pulling the cover away slightly just to make sure that I've got that gap. I'm aiming to end up with the blade in the gutter down here. You really got to be careful with your fingers. And the blade is at a slight angle. You don't want to come through the cover if you're going to be recycling that. And then you'll just run. And if it runs smoothly like this, then you know you're doing a good job. And there it's come away. We can just run that through again like so. And you can see this, these little marks here are because this book has been sewn together. And then you can do exactly the same on the back. And we pull that away. And there we go. Your block has been removed from the cover. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed and found this tutorial really useful. And now you can start crafting with books. The opportunities are endless, but I do have a project that you might like to try, so do carry on watching here for your very first book craft tutorial. And if you would like more tips, then do remember to like and subscribe, because I'll be back here again with more bookish things for you to make. All the materials that I have used in this video you can find in the description below. And if you would like to be kept in the loop with all my news on bookish things, then do sign up to the newsletter. I'll see you here again very soon.